All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checker TV. Tonight we have a fun race here this evening. So let's say pretty much normal rules. Though it's gonna be 75 laps is the scheduled race distance. However, there are two fast pairs to this evening instead of the normal one, and then the other big change tonight as well. It's hosted. We got a lot of drivers in here. I believe at least around 40ish, most likely, that are still in the server. So that's going to be a lot of fun as well. And I was saying, just to kind of make things that little bit extra incentive, we're going to have $5 going to our pole sitter tonight. And for the race itself, it goes $25 to our winner, $15 to second, and $10 to third position. And if this race goes caution-free, extra $5 to each of those positions as well. So a little bit of incentive for these drivers, but it's one of those things, though. It's a lot of new names, a lot of new faces. Everybody's going to have to try to get familiar with one another. However, if there's a track where you got a little bit of extra space to kind of maybe get away with a little bit more than what you are used to at Daytona, I'd say Talladega would be the place to do so. So, like I said, qualifying going on right now. And then, indeed, good luck, Dean, for you and your team. And then Kevin as well, Merry Christmas to you and, like I said, to everybody else. Say holiday season just about in full effect here. I know my little monster is out of school for winter break, so it's starting to kick off for them already. Some of us still have to go back to work in the morning, so hopefully a nice little distraction for those that do have to go back to work on Monday morning. Have some fun here tonight with these guys over at Area 51. And again, with this being a fun race, also a bit of a recruiting race as well. So if you are interested in looking for a league, area51iracing.com, you can see it on the bottom over there. Basically, they race four times a week. You got the Monday nights. Actually, we'll start with Sundays. Sunday night Superspeedway Xfinity Series. Then Monday night is the Next Gen Series. I'm saying that these are all kick off the second week of January. I believe that is January 9th, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, January 9th will be when the season starts off with the Sunday Superspeedway Series. Monday night Next Gen. Tuesday night will be the IndyCars IR18s partnered with Dark Horse Racing. And then on Thursday nights, Superspeedway Truck Series. We're going to switch things up a little bit. So we're going to be bringing back the 230, 240 mile an hour speeds at iRacing Superspeedway in the schedule. So definitely keep an eye on that as well. So far, looks like we've had about 25 drivers opt to put down a qualifying lap as they run. We'll see how many more decide to put some laps down. And right now it is definitely tight at the top. Looks like it's in about the hundredths, if not thousandths of a second for that pole position. So we'll see if anybody else has anything in store for some lap times here. But right now, let's say it's tight at the front here. So we'll keep an eye, see what these drivers can do, as we've got just about a minute left in qualifying. And I'm still sitting at about those same 25, so I think a few drivers may be waiting just a little longer to see maybe what everybody else is doing before they start to kind of drop the hammer on their end here tonight. Of course, the other thing is going to be bear with me because we've got a lot of new names, a lot of car numbers that aren't normally matched with the driver. So we're going to have some mismatched car numbers with the paint schemes, things of that nature. So it's just kind of the nature of the beast with these hosted races. So we'll see a little bit of that as well. But it's going to be a lot of fun though still. And so it'll be interesting to see. 'Cause again, we're going to have some teammates able to work together. But again, I think we're probably going to have a few ringers here tonight that, as I'm looking at our list of drivers, and for the most part, actually, it's kind of familiar faces in the top 12, top 15 or so. But there's a new name, new face on the front row here, and looks like he's going to indeed hold on to that pole position. So like I said, kind of kicking things off with a new name, new face. It's a good start for him in that number 4 machine. And that is going to be in reference to the number 4 of Mark Sherwood. That's going to be our pole position for tonight's event. And we'll pull up our starting grid for tonight's race. And actually hide that there. So you got, again, like I said, the 4-car of Mark Sherwood on the pole by 1/1000th of a second over Gabe Butler. Say our super speedway, I believe our Thursday super speedway champion in the trucks over there. And then you see in third, you've got Joe Delvecchia, Eric Laurie, Dean Wilkinson, Vicente Guerrero, Cody Niegels, Patrick Groover, Les Levy, Seth Groover, Paul Sheldon, Simon. I'm going to butcher again. New names, new faces, right? We'll go with Simon in the number 020. 13th, you've got Donald Sadusky, one of our next-gen winners over there at Indianapolis, Brandon Webb. One of my co-commentators usually on the Thursday nights. He wanted to get some laps in, so say he's going to start in the 14th spot. Then you got Matt Zaccardo, Robert Rock, Kyle Dean, Donald Stewart, Keith Horner, Ernie Williams, David Overstreet, Kenny Zeems, Nick Mumley, and then Dylan Snavely. Again, a lot of drivers keep rolling on back here. You got Kevin LaChance, Kevin Clark, Anthony Monroe, Ken Zeems, Matt Wagner, Cody Nelson, Michael Bortle, Charles Johnson, Jim Brooks, Al Cena, Bob Fitzgerald, and Scott Roney in 36th. And we'll keep going down the rest of the order here. You've got Randy Miner, then Doyle Lawrence, Joey Throckmorton, Jason Kiefer, Zach Scott, Rob Brunke possibly, and Devin Shore are the 43 listed. Again, some drivers have stepped away, so we'll see how many we actually get to take the green here tonight. And timing is just about perfect here because it looks like the pace car is just about to roll off of pit road. And we're going to get this field underway here. And so I'm actually going to kick things off with, my opinion, one of my favorite paint schemes that I found so far this race. And that's going to be that 55 of Dean Wilkinson. And say we'll pull up our normal interview here. Say once the sun goes behind the shadows there. So you got the nice number looking 55 here of Dean Wilkinson. So he's rocking the Christmas wrapping paper paint scheme in that 55. So we've seen some holiday sweaters, the ugly sweaters, things like that. So he went straight to the wrapping paper design in that 55. Really love what he did there. So definitely enjoy seeing Dean have some fun with that paint scheme and be able to put this one together here for the race here tonight. I'll say two other drivers. So I'm not sure if Mom's watching or not this evening, but if she is, say her boys, Patrick and Seth Groover, they always have a really fun way of running kind of similar paint schemes, but just different enough. So you got the NOS energy drink here. So you got the charged citrus with that green and yellow paint scheme. Then right behind him, Seth Groover, you got the grape, you got the purple and the orange on the O2. So again, they find every time such good little things to do, like the Mario and Yoshi paint schemes, the Nintendos. It's been so much fun seeing the little paint schemes that they throw together week in and week out. So definitely want to give a hats off to those guys as well. They have a lot of fun with it, and it's a lot of fun to watch. So right now showing 34 drivers on the track here. See at least one in pit road. So we're going to have 34 drivers here on track to take the green flag as they come through the tri-oval. And as I say, once that green flag comes out, then we will be underway here tonight. As the green flag flies, and again, Mark Sherwood, Gabe Butler, the front row. And need to mention again that $5 pole position award goes to that four of Mark Sherwood. As they beating out pretty much one of our qualifying masters, if you will, of that number 88 tonight of Gabe Butler. So a great start by him, but right off the bat, here comes Joe Delvecchia. He was thinking about trying to peek up on the outside, opts to hold in line for the moment, and here he goes. He's going to jump up top. He's got Dean Wilkinson going with him. I say Mark Sherwood's going to feel like the odd man out here as that outside line is just going to push right on by that 4 car. Both cars clear. Might even grab the next car line, the 88, but he's going to stay in that outside line. And I believe he's got his teammate of Eric Laurie right behind him, and that's exactly where you want to be if you're that number 88 here is to have your teammate. And there are those two Groovers on the third line. That was not a surprise figured we'd see them up top early, and they're there right off the bat. So again, on the fuel side of things, probably most likely, actually, the trucks usually be a 3-stop. These cars, you should be able to pull a 2-stopper depending on what the fuel mileage they have on them, whatever the fuel they start with. But yeah, right now though, definitely looking good up front. And these guys going 3x3. Patrick just a nose ahead as they go into 3, but not enough to drop to the bottom here. And they've also picked up some help on that top side, and that's going to be Donald Sadusky. I'll say Donald definitely not one that's shy from working that third line as well. So these guys have some really strong help here working that third line. Also see in the middle and the 52 now also picked up the middle line there. Paul Sheldon, he's now the third car on that middle group. As we're about to go 3x3, looks like 4, about to be 5 cars deep here right off the bat. These guys wasting 0 time picking up the aggression like we're used to seeing here in this league. So you see Brandon Webb, he's starting to peek into that picture as well. I think I see the 30 of Donald Stewart also in there in that Kellogg's car. So I say we've got a lot of drivers here moving around here trying to find where they want to go. But right now it's only about 2 now in the middle there, because actually as they was, while we're watching all that, Gabe Butler, he was able to get to the inside in front of Joe Della Vecchia. That's now allowed Eric Laurie to take control on that middle groove, and still got Patrick Groover running that third line. Right now, Gabe Butler still leading the way in that 88. Joe Della Vecchia pushing him through the tri-oval here. So I'm gonna be quiet for a little bit so you can hear these cars as they go through, because these guys are having, I'm sure, a lot of fun right now. So say while we're watching, you can see a couple of drivers that were in the front of that pack. They went straight to the back. They had seen enough, and that's the 88 of Gabe Butler, the 55 of Dean Wilkinson. Now they got to try to hook up together and try to tag onto the back of that draft, which is going to be the 31 of Kevin Clark. Of course, this all pending everything staying green as it is, but right now they've done a really good job of staying clean and green. As I say that, you see more cars down the apron. Eric Laurie rolling out of it there in the 071. And so it looks like a lot of drivers deciding, you know what, we've seen enough here. We're going to get to the back here. So it's going to start to change the names and the faces towards the front here. He's got Paul Shelby now leading the inside row. And you got those Groover brothers on that middle groove here in those Toyotas. And saying they picked up a third Toyota just for good measure, and that's the 54 of Nick Mumley in the Skittles car. So say they got actually 4 Toyotas now as well, the 28 of Michael Bortle. So I got some Toyotas lined up in that middle groove here, and going pretty well, I should say. Patrick able to just get his nose ahead, or was able to lead at the line. Now it's just that decision of when and where do you decide to maybe try to work with your teammate, maybe try to get yourself cleared, then get down to the bottom. So we'll have to keep an eye and see, but right now holding pretty steady with these two, Paul Sheldon and Patrick Groover. So things settling in just a little bit. You say it's not 3x3, about 5-6 deep anymore like we saw. They said I think some of the series regulars saw that and they're like, yeah, we're not ready quite for that yet. So they went ahead, they backed out of it here. But with that, though, of course, they're going to get those comers and goers. And like I said, Michael Bartle, 28 car, he is one of those. Worked his way now up about 23, 24 positions from where he started. Just to, again, depends on where he is at the time on the track. That 28 car, though, big gainer here early on. Same thing goes for Randy Minor, the 101 machine. He is plus 24 as well, which he's working the third line kind of off on his own at the moment. But actually, I'm going to jump back up front, though, because these guys are starting to make some pretty big moves here. It's Donald Sadusky trying to lead that third line. And you see that Skills car, he's worked to that third line to try to join the party there as well. And then in the opposite spectrums, I mean, you got the front row pretty much all back together here. Now at the back of the field, like say the 4 of Mark Sherwood, the 88 of Gabe Butler. So that was our front row. They've rolled all the way back to 32nd and 34th here. So like I said, they're deciding, you know what, yeah, it's not time. Let's say they had some fun up front. They decided to cruise back to the back. But right now, that 01, the 02 combo, they're working very well together. And they're pretty committed to this middle line. You'll see them kind of just run that seam almost. On the second line there through the turns, and I'll say it's just making sure you're not pinching that inside line a little bit, keep the momentum up as well. But it seems like that second groove working very, very well here tonight. I say again, that could be them, that could be the cars. I say it could just be how well they're drafting with one another here. So with that, though, we're already 10 laps in, 75 lap race, as I said before. Believe they should be able to go to about 25 or so on fuel. So if all goes well, as they should be a 2-stop race for most of these drivers. So let's see if that comes into fruition or not. First obstacle here is going to be for this lead pack because the 82 they're coming up to is Anthony Monroe, who started from the pits, and you can see actually right off the bat he's going to go straight to the apron here. So what he needs to do ideally is if he can try to tag on to the back of this lead pack here. So he's got to of course be careful through the through the flat. So you also actually really want to run a little higher than where he's running there. He's running on the very, very flat, which all the bigger you can get, the better. So we'll see if he can now pick up speed out of 4. Might be able to tag on. You see all the drivers moving to that second groove to try to help him merge up here. But it's going to be tight for him to try to tag back onto this draft. So hopefully he can. Because I say he's already lost 1 lap. He definitely doesn't want to go a second down. And it looks like he may be able to pick up that 4 car of Mark Sherwood. So we'll keep an eye and see. But so far it looks like pretty good for him. As that happened, we're back to 4x4 or 3x3, 4 rows deep here for a front row front 4 rows, actually now 5. Right now I'm trying to see who would be pulling what I'd be doing here. I think it's going to be Les Levy, maybe Les Levy. As I said, he's of course starting to creep a little bit further forward here. That 62 car, Les is usually pretty sneaky about when he wants to make those moves. And so usually I'd be sitting actually probably right now where Robert Rock in that 7 is, just as far as forward as you can, but right behind the 2 and 3 wide battles here early on in this race. So and I think Les is kind of doing the exact same thing. Sometimes he gets pulled into it, and you can see he just kind of rolls out just a little bit here. But yeah, I'd be sitting probably just about where that 62 and that 7 car is. Oh, as I say that, we got trouble right in front. The 30 is around right in front of them. and that is most likely going to bring out a yellow, but actually no, still stay green. Everybody able to keep their cars pointed forward somehow, but Donald Stewart got a pretty good piece of that, so I'm not sure how much damage he's going to have. We're going to go back and try to take a better look here as they came through. As you see, oh, I'm sorry, not the 19 there, say it's the 30 of Nick Mumley, or that's the 52, 54. I got to find the car numbers here. But you can see the 30 gets the worst of it with the 18. But what happens, though, is everybody's able to stay... I'm sorry, yeah, 30 is Donald Stewart. I apologize. But you can see, though, he's able to keep it pointed forward. Look at that avoidance by the 60 there. And unfortunately, he gets a bit of a shot from the 51 of Jim Brooks. But with all that was happening, everybody else got woed up there. And so we somehow stay green in this one. So I say we'll jump back live here. So let's say has definitely separated the field right now. It looks like we've got now about 16 cars in this lead pack. Actually, it's going to be 17 because the 020 of Simon, I say Sirgis, is trying to tag back on. I think he will as well. So we're going to have 17 cars in this lead pack. But then you got to go almost 7 seconds back, it looks like, to the 08 of Bob Fitzgerald. And these guys are going to have to figure out what they need to do to get going again because they're still losing time pretty aggressively right now. So it's going to take a lot of just kind of reorganization. So right now, say there's some admins back here too. So they're in that tough spot of wanting a yellow but also wanting this race to stay green because as an admin, you always love seeing green flag racing. But yeah, so say they'll be kind of in between a rock and a hard place on what they want to see happen here. So we'll keep an eye on that interval. But right now, as like I said, it's a pretty significant margin here. So right now, though, like I said, it's about 17 cars in this lead pack. And like I said, you get back to about the 18th position, and that's where things really spread out. We'll look at the ticker on the left as well to kind of get the actual number. And yeah, it's over 9.5 seconds from Bob Fitzgerald to the lead. About 8.5 from him to that number 020. So what these guys need to do, they need to get organized and they got to stay tight on each other. And I'm watching that outside line. I see Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie. They're trying to work their way forward here. Because those are definitely two that know what they need to do to make that big push happen. So we'll keep an eye on those guys and see what they can do here if they can kind of pick up the pace in that second line. I say because there's a lot of theories in super speedway racing. Is it faster to run single file, double file? What's the quickest way around? And everybody's got their theories. I don't think anybody knows which is the right theory, but I think that's what these guys are probably discussing most likely in the race in their own Discord channels as well. So the ones we'll be watching now is actually going to be Eric Laurie because he's now got to that outside line to the front here. And you can see Gabe Butler all over the back of him. You see the 4 card there as well. Mark Sherwood, he's trying to stay tight on these guys as well, as is that 55 of Dean Wilkinson. So I think this is exactly what we're talking about. This is going to be what these guys need to do to close that gap. And sure enough, last time by, they were almost 3/4 of a second quicker. It was a 49.59 for Gabe Butler to a 50.25 for Paul Sheldon. So right now, I say, but again, we're still a long ways to go in this one. Only lap 17, so about 7-8 laps till pit stops, and then from there, I say that'll be again. That's also going to start to shake up that running order. You see a big move there by the Groovers there, able to get straight to the bottom here because they do need to start thinking about positioning themselves to be ready for that green flag pit stops. Do have, looks like, I saw Matt Wagner. He hit pit road early on, and unfortunately, whatever's going on, he's still sitting in pit road in that 26 car. And then also Jim Brooks, he's had to hit pit road as well. I think just too much damage, wasn't able to hold the draft. So, it's a 25 car. So he's rolling out of pit road right now. So he's going to go a lap down for the moment. And also will be outside his pit window to make it on the 2 stops. But I think it's one of those things you just got to do what you can to kind of stop the damage, basically. So he's going to try to cycle back out. Probably will fall back to that group behind him once more. And again, also looking at the gap from the back towards the front here. It's holding pretty steady. Say that lap time still holding not as big of a gain here. About that 8.6 or so from the 020 car. So really, obviously, of course, caution changes everything, but I think the biggest thing that could shake things up here tonight will be this potential first set of green flag pit stops. As you see the 30 car go straight to the apron there, and you can see he's running kind of that slightly higher line there. Gets a little bit of banking that allows Donald Stewart to just pick up that little more momentum, but you can see still significant rear end damage to that car. And unfortunately, he's going to fall off that draft as well here. So say while we stay green, they're going to just kind of separate from him. That's going to same thing, put him back into the path of Jim Brooks, because that's going to be the next thing, of course, is the Lucky Dog battle, which right now is going to the 30 car. But again, as he gets his pace slows down, he's going to get caught by that second pack, which is where maybe Jim Brooks can capitalize, try to swing back around him. So say that would be the next battle for to try to get back on the lead lap to give yourself a good chance of a finish here, depending on how this race plays out. Come through 4 here again. They're going to be coming around through the tribal here to start lap number 22. So again, that window getting very close to when they're going to start making those pit stops. And again, still watching lap times. Oh, as I said, we got trouble. The 52, the 54 up against the wall. But again, they stay pointed in the right direction, so this may stay green here. And that was Paul Sheldon there, and the 020 as well, and then the 54. Oh, Nick Mumley. And it looks like he's going to pull it off here. Probably, yeah, he's going to take a tow there, which is going to avoid the yellow as well. So, say, unfortunately, bad luck for that 54 car. So I'm trying to see if I can hunt back to see what exactly happened between the two of them. Because, yeah, it was kind of an odd situation there. So let's see here. Let's go back around. See if I can get it pointed. Oh, you can see already pointed in the up front there. I think it's just a push gone wrong between that 54 and that car in front. So let me back it up a little bit so we can get a better look at it here. Let's see. We're trying to take a look at these two cars towards the middle line, I should say. I'm sorry. As I say, we can see again the goal. You really got to stay lined up to them, and you can see right here trying to get lined up. And he was just moving a little bit to the right when the first push happens. And then at that point, you're just trying to save that car. And unfortunately, in trying to catch it, it goes right in front of the 54 as well. Nothing the 52 could do either. You see everybody else reacting there. So unfortunately, just a bad break. Just a push gone wrong, unfortunately, for those guys. And so, yeah, so that's unfortunately, looks like that's been the 54. I believe that's his retirement from the event here tonight. But we're starting lap number 24 next time around. So we're, again, pit stop windows. It's going to be opening very soon here. So now's the question of who's going to, try to stretch it a couple extra laps versus drivers maybe trying to pit once that window is absolutely open. So I think if you're that second pack, I think the best bet for you is to just go a little further, because if a yellow comes out, you don't want to get trapped a lap down. If you're in this front pack, you're safe to pit without losing a lap. That second pack, though, not so much. You can see that second pack also all now single file as well down the back. I say sitting at about 6.8 seconds off of the 32 car of Kenny Zeems. Let's say that's not very accurate to the gap of these guys in front, because he's a couple seconds off. And we've got our first driver here hitting pit road on his own. That's going to be Michael Bortle here in the 28 machine. He's got the 32 now. Kenny Zeems coming in right along with him. So these two going to pit. They're pretty spread out apart here, but this is probably the 28 trying to pit maybe a little early and also be a little safer on his pit entry, not having to pit with a big group of cars. And that also could gain him a lot of time on that entry. So say that is a strategy that sometimes does pan out. So we'll keep an eye on him and see where he cycles out. Like I said, I think we're going to start to see some pit stops here very shortly. And again, in a hosted race, first off, hats off to these guys, let's say, because it looks like we might just get to that pit stop window. Honestly, I was skeptical going into tonight, but these guys have done a really good job kind of keeping their head on their shoulders. And yeah, here they come. It's going to be a big pack of cars, so everybody's got to start staggering out, make sure they get their pit pit marks set up here, make sure they don't get into the back of each other. That's exactly what happens. The 101 and the 69 now, it's all kicking off behind them. You see all these guys getting into one another here, and that's just going to make things that much worse for these guys. You can see the 01 trying to get it looped around. This is costing all these guys so much time, unfortunately. And so that's going to be a heartbreaker for the 01 because he's going to lose tagging on with his brother there. So this is the opportunity for Vicente and Cody here. They stayed out one more lap. They're going to go together and say now it's a smaller pack here. I believe it's 2 faster pairs if I heard correctly tonight. But at this point, though, for Patrick, though, he's going to need a caution just because of how much time he lost on that pit entry, getting spun around there. So I think that's the danger of pitting in such a big pack there. I think that's exactly why we see Vicente and Cody going that one extra lap. You can see it's so much calmer with just the 2 cars. But now here comes the next gaggle of cars. And again, you can see everybody just trying to jockey for position. A little bit of contact. Again, there goes some contact in the back there. Bob Fitzgerald around. And you see the 31. He has to hit the pit cone to try to avoid it. And you see everybody's basically trying to find where they need to go. And this is the danger of these big pit groups. When it works well, it's amazing. When it doesn't work, it all goes wrong. So we'll have to keep an eye here. But right now, say it's going to be Gabe Butler. This being the first of those to hit his pit box there. But now the question is going to be, where do those guys who came out a little earlier, where do they come out in order? And it looks like Donald Sadusky may have been the big winner in the pit stop cycles here, because it looks like he's only locked on. He's got one car with him, the 85 of Alcina. So we're going to see how they kind of sort things out here with the guys around them. But right now, it's like I said, this is really, really spread this field out here. So at the moment, though, our leader is going to be Cody Niegels. He actually has the best pit entry and exit. So we just mentioned him, of course, going that one extra lap with Vicente, and that worked out great for him. However, there's such a thing as having too good of a pit stop, and unfortunately for Cody, that's exactly what's happened, because he's off on his own here, and he's about to get swallowed up here by Keith Horner, Donald Sadusky, Alcina, and Vicente Guerrero. However, they're going to be enjoying about an 8-second margin over the 6th place driver of Charles Johnson. So I'll say once these guys get settled in here, which I'll say there goes Donald with a huge head of steam like we just talked about. That's going to give us these 5 drivers here lined up here to take over the point of this race. So we're going to drop back those 8 seconds to Charles Johnson. As you can see, he's locked on here with Gabe Butler. However, these guys have a pretty solid pack of drivers. So I think advantage is going to go to these guys because they have enough drivers, and they're also really good drivers as well. I say not a knock on those top 5, but with only the 5 of them, it's a bigger group here. And I think we're seeing also a little bit of brotherly love here between the 01 and the 02. I believe the 01, I believe it was, came back to pick up Seth there. I may have it mixed up there. Apologies if so. But I think it's some teamwork between the brothers to hook back up with one another and try to work together here. Unfortunately, though, you see that odd man out just outside the drafting window. It's going to be that 77 of Brandon Webb. Was so close to picking up that draft, but he's just going to fall off the back of it here. So, unfortunately, it looks like he's going to have to drop back a little further here. So now it's going to be all about watching the lap times, and that's going to be the next question here. However, I have a very fun partner in crime that's hopped in the here, which will say never what I want to see, Matt, but it's always a pleasure to have you in the booth with me. But definitely don't enjoy having you out of this race early on. It looked like you just had to pretty much jump to the pits there. Any hardware issues or what was going on for you there?
Then down there. So, I'm pretty excited just to be in the commentator booth with you. I always enjoy watching these guys race and still learn. I still don't know I have a win in this series, but it's nice to be up there and learn and see what they're doing and what am I missing.
Yeah, honestly, it's only going to be a matter of time. It's just one of those things. You just got to keep putting yourself in that right place. And we talk about the plate races. Obviously there's skill involved, but there's also a good chunk of luck. And of course, you got to have some help with you too. And so, all 3 are extremely critical to obviously getting yourself in the right place at the right time. And we saw just a little bit earlier with the pit stops of Cody Niegels. He by far had the best pit entry and exit, and he got out about at least a second ahead. And you've been there, done that. but he has no help, and so he just gets swallowed up by the pack here.
Yeah, I know exactly how that feels. I did that a couple of times season prior to last year, but these guys are last season they were spot on as far as pit stops. But I was a little bit behind, and I need to learn. Need to get better.
Yeah, and that's the thing is it's really two parts too. Is obviously you got to know your braking points to get to your pit speed in general to into the pits. But then, like for me, my biggest weakness I think is my pit stall is just knowing when you can really stomp on the brake and get in your stall, not overshoot it, or of course give up too much time getting to it. That's I think been one of my biggest weaknesses in all my racing. So I mean that's another thing that these guys have to be careful about as well. But so far though, like I said, I mean we've got a top 6 breakaway with top 5 breakaway with Donald Sadusky, Al Cena, Cody Niegels, Keith Horner, Vicente Guerrero, and I mean they're making good time, just the 5 of them too. Because I'm looking at the lap times right now. I think they actually may have picked up a straggler here. Yeah, they did. They picked up the 171 there of Robert Rock. But I mean, I'm looking at the lap times though, and they're pretty much right on par here with Gabe Butler, Charles Johnson, and they're doing everything they can here, but they just don't have the lap times that they're looking for to try to close that gap, as it's over 9 seconds right now.
Yeah. Well, I watched a little part earlier. There was a little bit of bobble up. We set these guys behind, and they're gonna have to make up the time. Looks like they're do a bunch of swap drafting, and it's gonna help them. But those guys up front are running killer lap times. But we'll see what happens here in the next 5 to 10 laps, and I'll be watching the lap times here.
Yeah, but I'm saying it looks like the Groover said, "Hey, hold our NOS energy drink. We're gonna give it a shot here." And sure enough, that last time by, they go over 4/10 of a second quicker than those top 4. So we'll see maybe if the second pack, I should say, if they can maybe tag on with the Groover brothers, because again, I mean, we've seen these guys are ridiculously fast, and they can hook up and they do what they need to do. Their lap times are comparable to anybody. So this will be a really important, I think, lap time to see how the 01 and the 02 compare to a Donald Sadusky, as now it's going to be equal between them leading this pack and Donald leading his group. I think this will be a pretty good apples to apples comparison.
Yeah, I was told about last season about these Groover brothers. They are really good at pushing, and I'm sitting there watching them. And it's how old I am, and compared to these guys, they got a better steady hand than I do.
Yeah, and so there's a lap time right there, 50:11 for Patrick and Seth to 50:47 for Donald. So again, about 3.5 tenths there. I'll say we got Mom in YouTube, so maybe she can chime in too. But it'd be curious to see how long they've been racing with one another. Maybe there's also just again that little bit of kind of they have the same brainwave, if you will, say with them being twins as well, just to kind of add on to it. Maybe there's something to be said about having a twin in a plate races to be able to just do that little bit more than maybe the rest of the drivers could do. But right now, again, sorry.
No, you're go ahead. I'm curious what they turned this time around. Let's see. Seth Gruber ran a 50 flat.
Again, I'm almost 5 tenths. Yeah, 50:08 to 50:54. So the gap is coming down. It's a big gap though. Still, like I said, it's about 8.5 seconds. But really, the magic number is going to be the gap between Patrick Gruber and Vicente Guerrero. Or actually, I think at this point it's the 171, I believe, of Robert Rock, or I think right now the 7. Because basically what you're looking for is how far you are from the last car in that draft. Because once you pick up their draft, I mean, it feels like your car gains like 50 horsepower. So, however, I'm going to jump a little further back. Oh, we got some trouble further back here. It's Jim Brooks. Uh-oh. He's had a moment. I'd say he's already had to burn one faster pair already. And that car looks pretty used up here. And that may have just been drivers working a little bit too hard to try to work together to maybe gain some track position. But once again, though, Matt, we stay green. We've had a couple of potential incidents, cautions, that just haven't brought the yellow out. And so far, it seems to continue that trend here. Yeah,
that's pretty much the story for their 51 Super Speedway season. You know, cautions, you know, they were very far and few toward the beginning of the season, And in the middle of the season, it started picking up, and then toward the end of the season, when everything got all serious, you wouldn't get any cautions. It was just, wow, these guys would run 3 wide side by side, and these guys are good.
Yeah, and I mean, they would run 3x3 for 15, 20 laps, basically the whole last fuel run almost if they had the opportunity. Let's say the second group just a little quicker this time, at about a tenth of 50, 10 to 50.19 up front. So say not quite as fast as they were getting earlier, but again, I mean, they have brought it down to under 8 seconds behind Vicente. I mean, so they are going the right way here still in that number 9 machine as well. So I'll say that 01 and 02, I think they found a good combo here to lead this pack. And the thing is, it's not just about those top 2 cars. So basically the third car line, Charles Johnson, his job is basically to try to stay as tight as he can to the 02 of Seth Gruber. But you never really want to push the pusher with these Xfinity cars, or actually really any super speedway racing, because that really upsets the cars the most. But basically, the closer Charles can get to the 02, it almost propels the 02 towards the 01 a little bit more. It basically just speeds that whole pack up just that little bit extra. So say you can't really rest and just kind of rest and relax here if you're in Charles Johnson's position. You guys are also the same thing. You got to really stay up on the wheel and kind of just keep that aggression on those 2 in front as well.
Yeah, so basically, what you just said is it's quite weird how that happens. If you get more cars all lined up, bumping their bodies all straight together, you will gain more time. But I don't know the science of it, but it's been a proven fact that we would gain about 2 or 3 tenths. It's just, wow.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's where I was commenting on earlier. Is like everybody's got their theories. Actually, we've just crossed the halfway point here. Everybody's got their theories of what's the best approach. Is they're running single file like they are now? Is it running 2x2? Is that the faster way? And so it's just one of those questions that every car, every iRacing build, it's always different. And so you really never know. Everybody's just, like I said, got their theories, and also, of course, depends on the group of cars that they have. So like with this group being about maybe about 10 cars, yeah, it might be better to do single file like they are. I mean, it's obviously been working. They have been gaining on Donald Sadusky leading that first pack here. So I mean, at this point, just keep going with what's working. And I think the big question mark is going to be if and when we get to lap 50, that second set of pit stops. I mean, that was pretty much what made or broke a lot of these guys' races here, was those big groups of drivers hitting pit road all together. So again, it's a lot of basically a lot of organization that you have to try to get nailed down, and unfortunately some drivers did it well, some drivers got burned by it.
Now that last time by, they were a tenth and a half faster. Now this time by, they were still about 2 tenths faster this time. So now we're under 8 seconds now. This time the leaders are running into the lap traffic here. There,
yeah.
Gael.
Yeah, exactly. And the one thing, this will be kind of a potential short-term gain, and we'll see how it goes the rest of the way, because they need to see these guys actually get out of the way, but they don't. They stay on the inside line, and that's the exact opposite of what Donald wanted to see there, because it was great for him while he was picking up their draft, but then when they all have to jump to the outside to swing around these guys, it's just going to kind of break the momentum of the group. You can see they're all kind of just misaligned here, and that's going to really slow that lap time down. As they, I won't say this time, because you can see they ran a 49.74, one of their fastest laps lately. It was actually Donald Sadusky's best lap of the race. But it's basically then everybody's got to get reorganized again. And that being said, though, they did a really good job. You see those cars that just went down a lap, they picked right back on, and they've been going at it.
Yeah, they picked up a little bit of time because of the lap cars. We'll see next time by, see how much quicker they are since they ran into the lap traffic and they had to run high. We'll see what the times are this time by.
Yeah, exactly right. And so getting some more insight from Mom. So 30 years old now, but they've been racing with their Momo steering wheels since they were about 11 or 12. So basically, they've had about 18 years of racing or sim racing experience between them. And yeah, I mean, I think that goes a long ways there. So they're definitely doing it right. And yeah, lap time wise, like you said, Matt, this time by, I mean, you look at it, the last time by was a 49.74 for Donald. This time a 50.23. So basically, they gained half a second from picking up the draft of those couple lap cars that they had caught up to.
That's crazy. Projected. I'm saying, what's our next pit stop here, guys? Right about lap 52.
Yeah, right about 50-52 range. It just depends on, I think, how do you want to kind of give yourself a little bit of margin to make it all the way to the end, or that green-white checkered potential. But again, look at Donald Sadusky though. He's going to pick up against some more tow. He's got some big names here with some of these guys. Obviously, my partner in crime, Brandon Webb's in that mix. Jim Brooks is right there as well. The 08 is also in there. Bob Fitzgerald, one of our regulars. But again, you see they kind of hug the inside line, make the leaders go around the outside. And the thing is, for the leaders, as long as you hold the line and like the three of them stay lined up like they are, that's what they want. They don't want to see like one of them go high, one go low, and because that's where things really start to kind of get in trouble. So, but what this done though, look at that though, it's split up the pack here. Now you see Dean Wilkinson trying to find somewhere to kind of get back in line. Now just is able to, but you can see I think now you got that fight for that lucky dog position, which I believe is currently sitting. I'm trying to find. I think actually might be sitting with Dean Wilkinson if I'm not mistaken, as I'm letting the timing and scoring cycle around here. But I believe that's where right now that's what the fight is right here, is that 55 trying to stay that first car one down, because he's got Robert Rock right behind him, and that could be a big change if a yellow comes out. And then Jim Brooks is right there in that mix as well.
I'm kind of comparing the two lines here. See, has more well organized. Let's see, Patrick and Seth. Like a little bit more organized here. Yeah, the lap cards just kind of spread out a little bit between the leaders there. Looks like Jim Brooks is caught up in there. He just went a lap down. That's a little tough break for him and them and Dean Wilkinson. I've been there before many times. Screw up on the pit stop, get caught up in someone else's mess. It is what it is. Yeah,
exactly right. The other thing this does do, actually, as I say, here comes Jim. He's going to hit pit road here. I say he's a bit off sequence than the rest of these guys. But what I'm watching, though, too, is also I'm watching Brandon Webb, basically. He's right now kind of the tail end of this lead pack, although he's right on the edge of losing that draft because he's got to work with Kyle Dean here to get back up to that draft. But what this is doing, too, though, here, Matt, is this is really spreading out this front group here. So, again, we were talking about the gap between Seth Groover and Vicente Guerrero. So, I mean, the thing is for Vicente, I'm sorry, I'm getting all mixed up where my cars are here. But I say you look for where Vicente is in that 9 car. He's the 5th car in line, but then you look and he's got what 1, 2, 3. He's got like 6 cars behind him. So really, that gap that's right now showing about 6.7 seconds between Patrick and Vicente is realistically more closer to about 6 seconds off of the 77 of Brandon Webb. And so again, that's what you're going to be aiming for. Is if you're Patrick and Seth here, you want to basically just pick up the draft of that last car in this main draft pack, and then start to make some magic happen.
We're under 6 seconds here, under 7 seconds. Excuse me.
Yep, and that's the thing, though. And you're actually the first thing you said is probably right. You're probably actually under 6 seconds from now. I believe it's not the 77 anymore. It's the 24 of Kyle Dean. So that's what they're looking at, is they see whoever that last car is, like just in the distance. They might be starting to peek. They see that green and the white on the back of these cars, saying, all right, there they are, let's go get them. And saying, like I said, they're getting there. I think it's going to come down to, Matt, it's going to be that in and out lap in the pits here. We'll have to see who all are they going to come all together in the first pack or the second pack. Do we see maybe basically, like, let's say 4 sets of pit stops, where maybe one group comes in together and then the other group comes in the next lap, just to keep it a little safer.
That's the only way they're going to have a shot at it. In and out. Yep, we're down to 6.5 seconds here.
And I'm going to pull in somebody else. I saw him peeking over with the Groovers, but I'm not going to let him get away here without dragging him into the booth. Say one of our dominant restrictor plate racers, who I know you were a little bit mad at, just due to his success, and that's that 23 of Sebastian Marion. So Sebastian, I saw you peeking in with the Groover brothers. They're making up some pretty good time chasing down that first pack there. So are you giving them tips, or what's going on over there?
Just going over there, hanging around, just seeing how they were doing, and just seeing how the race is playing out.
Yeah, I say so far, I mean, knock on wood and all that, because I say, you know the commentator's curse abilities that I have, but so far caution free for a hosted race, a money race as well. I mean, you can probably vouch for that from some of the races you've done, how few and far between those are able to happen. So these guys, knock on wood, like I said, these guys have been doing a really good job, and we're about 2 to 3 laps away from their second set of green flag pit stops.
Yeah, they're doing a pretty good job. It'll be interesting here on the green flag pit stops. Who can make up the most time, who will lose a lot of time. It'll be interesting.
So the only other question I have is, so if you're in this pack here, either the first group or the second group, are you looking to pit basically once you get to that window where you know you can make it to the end to the scheduled distance, or do you want to give yourself just a little bit of maybe a buffer room in case of a green-white checker or two? I mean, what's the approach you'd like to take here?
I think it kind of depends, because hitting as soon as you can is great, of course, because if a yellow comes out, then boom, you got those extra lap or two that you can save. But maybe people will stay out, maybe try and catch a few stragglers and use their draft to gain even more time on the guys that just pitted. So kind of a game of chess on the guys in front pit, where they come out, so we'll just have to see.
All right, I'll let you go back to doing some crew chiefing for the groovers there. So say it's fun catching you, though, and definitely look forward to catching you on track here again soon, sir.
Yeah, man, appreciate it.
Guy, it looks like we had an incident on track. Your partner in crime had a little boo-boo.
Yeah, so that being said, though, again, doesn't bring out a yellow. So, and that's actually, I mean, that was a comment from the Checkered Flag Motorsports group on YouTube here, was that there are two faster cars, but they're saying the same thing. It's like they're amazed that there haven't been any cautions thrown yet by iRacing. And just from what I've seen, just the way the caution or the way the incidents have happened, the cars have just been able to stay pointed in the right direction. And that seems to be one of the things that triggers iRacing for the caution or no caution, is the car has to be pointed basically, has to be turned perpendicular to the track or further for that caution to fly, and of course being on the racing surface. And we've seen some of the incidents that both cars stay pointed forward, and then other times they just are off track.
Here come our leaders.
Yep, here comes Donald Sadusky. And again, look, it's a big split, though. It's just two of them. You got Donald Sadusky, Al Cena coming in together. So it's just the two of them this time around, what should I say? And then you got same thing here, looks like behind as well. Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, just the two of them. So they're going for the gamble, going as soon as that pit window opens.
Yeah, we'll see how this all shakes out and once pit stop cycle is complete. I'm just curious if the Groover brothers can catch up with the Vincent Grow and Cody Nagels and all them.
I think they can, because I mean they've got that thing down to under 5 seconds now, and like I said, what's happening now is everything's starting to spread out just that little bit more. Looking at the pit exits, it looks like Donald and Al, they got out cleanly. I believe Gabe and Eric are in the same boat. They just came out of pit road as well.
Here come the Groover brothers.
Yep, and so you had a couple in front of them as well hitting pit road. But yeah, so it looks like they got about 4 of them coming in together here. Also, they picked up Les Levy and Kevin LaChance. So they're going to have 4 drivers coming in together. But Cody Neagles, he's going for the long strategy here. He's going to run those extra laps just in case, I think, for that green-white checker potential. But he's got plenty of help. So I say this doesn't hurt him too bad here, Matt, because he's got Keith Horner, he's got Vicente Guerrero. So this isn't a bad situation for these guys just to go that little bit extra.
Yeah, I would have been nervous trying to stay out. You know, you want to save more fuel, but once again, that time is, and the cautions, you know, not flying, and you really don't want to lose time here.
Yes, and here comes the big group together. Now everybody's got a stagger. You see a couple drivers avoiding moves to make sure they don't get into the back of those drivers hitting pit road. But you see how much calmer, more organized they are this time around here. Now they got to get a little bit of room. The 6 and the 9 cars close together. They make some space. Oh, the 4 car, actually, he's off into the grass here as Charles Johnson hits pit road. I think they're just trying to get everything they could. So this is going to complete our leaders' green flag cycles here, which right now is going to stay with Donald Sadusky leading the way, as Patrick Groover right now coming out with Seth Groover. But
look at Gabe Butler and Eric Laurie.
Yep, they're right there too.
Right up to the brothers. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm going to look at the pit top times as well, because I think that could be one of our things to keep an eye on here as well. But honestly, I think Donald Sadusky, Al Cena, I think they actually stretched their margin over the course of this green flag pit stop. So hats off to those guys.
Wow, that's incredible. I have to wait till time and scoring comes up for me.
Yeah, say Cody Neagles, because he's still showing as our leader. He's just now out of turn 2 down the backstretch trying to pick up speed. He's got Randy Miner with him. This is going to help him try to just kind of get that speed built up before Donald Sadusky comes around here on the outside, because you're going to see him coming in 3. Here comes that lead pack here. So Cody Neagles, he goes 2 laps further, Matt, but he is going to stay easily on this lead pack. So I say it's game on for that 6 car as well.
Yeah, Charles Johnson had a hell of a pit stop, but Like I said, I've been there many times. You gain all that time, and just no one can keep up with you.
Yeah, so right now, like I said, again, this field's spread out just a little bit here. So right now, solidly, we've got now 4 cars in this lead pack or that are on the lead lap, I should say, with Donald Sadusky, Al Cena, Cody Niegels, and Keith Horner in that 37 car. So they are the ones right now in the catbird seat that can make it to the end and that are also in position here right now, because then you have to go and go back almost 4 seconds now to Vicente Guerrero. He lost that group during the pit stop cycle. But I say here comes Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, the Groover brothers, and like I said, Charles Johnson just trying to tag onto the back of them. And actually, these 2 lap cars might be exactly what Charles needs here.
Yeah, beneficial. They can catch right back up.
Yeah, but so this is where now you see Gabe and Eric, and then you got the Groovers on the outside. They need to figure out, okay, who's going to lead this, because we don't want to stay 2x2. It's not enough cars, I feel like, to be able to do this. So they just need to settle in here and let a group lead, and I think that's going to be the 01 and the 02. And sure enough, yeah, they tuck right in. Yeah, you're right there now. Charles Johnson's right in this mix as well, so he's going to probably have to tag onto the back of that 9 car of Vicente Guerrero. And now, again, it's just going to be kind of watching lap times, because it's about 5 seconds between Patrick and Keith Horner as they run. But, oh, I'm jumped up front here, Matt. Look at the gaggle.
Wow. Yeah, we've got a big wad up here.
I say when they run like this, it's going to slow them down just a little bit more.
Big time. We'll see what the lap times look around this time around.
Yeah, last time by was a 50.36 for Donald Sadusky. I say he probably picked up some drafts, so we'll see what the lap time looks like this time. It's a 50.32, so not a lot of gain there, as the 50.09 for Patrick Gruber. So again, about 0.3 of a gain there, and right now showing at about 4.3 seconds from Patrick to Keith.
And we got 20 laps to go.
I'll say I'm not going to do the math, because that's definitely not my strong suit, but it's basically, yeah.
They'll be there at the end if the pace keeps going.
Yeah, if they can keep the margin they're doing right now, they could get there to the end. Because right now, basically, realistically, if we stay green, we've got about 10 cars that are in an outside chance of winning this race, from Donald Sadusky down to Charles Johnson. And then from there on out, these guys are going to need a yellow, because they're just too far back. So it's going to be all about lap times right now, and they're getting racy up front here, because now you see the 101 Randy Minor. He's actually hopped in front of Donald Sadusky. We'll see. This may not be what Donald's hoping for. He'd probably like to have that clean air on his nose. And actually, I would say that, the 101's blinking a little bit. That's the worst thing you want to have happen here.
Nope. Now they're sitting there fighting. Now it's going to be they'll be there in no time. Now there's excuse me. They knocked about 0.5 off the last time around.
Yeah, you're exactly right. However, we've got a new leader as things run right now, and that's going to be the 37 of Keith Horner. Oh, we got smoke down the backstretch. Just the 77. He's off the track. Yet again, we just stay green. But right now, you see areas again. I think this is going to be. They're going to probably react a little bit to that, and they're going to keep dicing around here to try to, let's say, just to slow that pace down just that little bit more. This is really looking promising here for that 01 and the 02.
Last time by, they ran a 50.2, and Alcina they ran a 50.2.
Actually, 50.2 as well. Yeah, impressive. So right now it's Sadusky back to the lead there. I say we saw the 37. He made a charge there of Keith Horner, but now he had to drop back a little bit. They're going to come around the 24 car. You see he stays out of the way, runs that third line. But yeah, and again, we're basing this all off of Cody Niegels in the 6 car. But right now he's about the 3rd car in that inside line. As you can see, there's 2 more cars about a second or so behind them. So realistically, Patrick and Seth are about 3 seconds, really, I feel like, off of this lead draft here. So it's going to be all to play for here as we're down to 17 to go. And the other question is also, Matt, I say some of the question marks about the cautions. If, of course, hosting my fair share of races as well, so you always wonder, were cautions actually turned on or not? So I'll say, if that's the case, I'll say Charles might be costing himself an extra $5 there. However, Look at that big push by that 37 car. He pushes one of the lap cars around the leader of Donald Sadusky, but at the same time, he clears himself as well. So right now, that 37 Hellman's Chevrolet, that is our race leader of Keith Horner.
Let's see. Let's look at lap times right now. I'm curious if they're actually gaining now.
It was a big lap by Keith Horner around 50.03. It looks like a 50.12 actually for Patrick Niegels, but it was a 50.20 for Donald Sadusky. So they're right on. Yeah, let's say they're kind of right on the same lap times roughly. But saying again, looking at that second group, they're staying very committed to each other. You can see they've got those like 6 cars here, and they're all running single file here. From Patrick Gruber, Seth Gruber, Gabe Butler, Eric Laurie, Vicente Guerrero, and Charles Johnson, the lead drivers in this pack here.
I just wonder when's going to start get racy up here. Well, it already is, but I'm just waiting for the 3 wide.
Yeah, I saw the 24 car kind of get pinned up against the wall. There's something either happened to this car or what. But he's able to take a tow. So.
I'm surprised that's not even a caution.
Yeah, again, I almost wanted to you actually might be able to check, Matt, just verify if cautions are indeed on or not, because that might be exactly what's happened is we're going caution free because maybe cautions might be actually off.
Unfortunately, I don't have access to look at that.
Well, I'll say that being said, we're down to 15 to go here, Matt. And again, we still continuously watch the gap between the leader and the Grubers. It's at about 4.4 seconds. And the other thing, of course, is at some point these guys are going to start to get racing. As I say that, Donald Sadusky, he pops to the outside. He's got Alcina with him. And it was just a matter of time. You knew they were going to start to get a little bit racier. And then it's going to be basically who's going to make the moves where. And right now, I'm going to say Donald Sadusky is going to take the point back. And you also see the 6 of Cody Niegels. He's trying to join into this mix as well. So say the racier these guys get, that's probably, again, better news for that group behind. So it's going to be all about just basically the intervals and when you can get that, just get that magic window, basically just get just close enough to start sniffing that draft. And then you're going to see that 01 and 02 make some huge numbers. But right now, this lead pack, though, even with them, they're battling, they're doing a really good job of keeping that pace up.
Yeah, they probably gained some serious time here because side by side, they're kind of disorganized up here a little bit. Now they get back organized again.
You see the 19 heat clears, and actually the 85 clears as well. I'm going to go out on a limb. It really looks like Donald and Al are working together here. I'll say they've been pretty much lockstep with one another throughout this race. So I feel like that is going to be a combination we see working together still. And let's say they're doing a really good job of that right now. It was about a 1/10 of a second gained last time by Patrick Gruber over Donald Sadusky. So it's down to now just under 3 seconds between Patrick and Keith Horner. So say again, I think they need to get probably to about 2 or so seconds, I think, where they'll really start to feel the effects of that draft. But right now, I mean, like I said, these guys, they're running 2x2, but they're doing a very, very good job. They're staying right on each other. As actually now the outside line, Cody Niegels, he's getting help from our pole sitter in that number 4 machine of Mark Sherwood. I say, unfortunately, Mark right now on the tail end, actually I should say probably the first car 1 lap down, but I say he is going to play a role here trying to help that 6 car. I say again, not sure if this is maybe these guys know each other, work together, or if it's just kind of work with who you kind of wind up around. But you can see that 4 is just giving the 6 everything he can right now to try to get him around that 41.
Sorry, I was just listening to a little in-game chat. The 11 was blinking a little bit, going down the back stretch.
Yeah, something they got to be very careful about, of course, is when you start blinking, I say that, again, that starts to separate people a little bit more. But they're getting racier once again, man. That lap time is drastically slowing down now.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was a 50.37 to a 49.91 by Patrick Gruber. I think it's just about game on here, Matt. I think they're just about to get into that window here where they can start to close that gap, as the 6 was able to clear that 19 car. So now he's going to take the point on the inside line. And that's the Ford and the 55 working together on the outside line. You see they're catching a lap car. He's going to jump to the top there. But I say, again, these guys are just going to start to get all that little bit more racy here as they get to these closing laps. But the interesting thing about this too, Matt, is right now all of our Ford lead lap cars are all on the inside line, and the rest of those guys on the outside line are all a lap or more down. So it's kind of really shaking up kind of who's going to be able to push where. It's kind of put Cody in a really nice spot here with 10 to go.
Especially when the Gruber brothers, Butler and Laurie, they catch up to him. I'm kind of interested to see what the lap cars do. Probably hold their position or fall back. We'll see. Now we're down to about 3.5 seconds now.
Yep, you're right. And it's about 3 1/4 from Patrick to Keith again. And say, look at Keith. I mean, there's a couple cars between himself and Patrick. So, again, it's probably closer now 3 seconds before they start sniffing some draft of those cars in front. So, I think it's going to be tight, Matt. But I would say maybe about 5 to go. If they can keep the momentum they're going here, they might be able to join this party here. So, it's just, again, they're going to need him to keep being a little bit racy. As see Donald Sadusky saw the opening here. He jumps to the top side as they're going to continue here to battle for this lead.
I'm glad I came up here. I'm actually really enjoying this being down there, because I probably would have been a lap down and not really enjoying the race. But being up here, and it's pretty exciting.
All right, and it's on now, Matt. I mean, I'm watching lap times. It was 49.72 for Patrick Gruber. I think he's picking up the draft of one of the lap cars there right in front of him. I can't tell what car number that is. He's going to jump to the top, though. I think it was Robert Rock here. Yeah, it is. They picked up his toe. And that's just going to propel them a little bit closer. It's under 2.5 seconds now between Patrick and Keith. And again, there's a few cars in between them, so I think they're just about into that magic 2-second window. We're going to start to see some. We're going to see some very quick lap times. Like, I think we're right, Matt. I think it's going to be about 5 to go is when we're going to see that all kick off here.
Yep, things are starting to heat up, and we got 9 laps to go here.
49.27 this time, almost a full second quicker for Patrick Gruber this time around.
Wow.
It's a 50.16, so yeah. And I say that was the fastest lap of the race for Patrick, for Seth, for Gabe, for Eric, Eric and Vicente. So I say it's on. Yeah, they've got the draft. They're going to be putting down a monster time right now. Now it's where do they take this momentum with them? Because right now there's one car looking on the third line here, so they need it to stay 2 by 2, and they can jump to the third line. Because I don't think that it's going to be worth waiting too long before they make their move here.
Yeah, I'm just really curious to see what happens here. I see that 11 just either drops back just a tad. Yep, here they come. They got the draft now.
Yep, as it's on now. Now you got a 10-car battle for the win here. As we got 7 laps to go. We're on board with Patrick Gruber. You can already see he's making his move. He's working his way from the bottom towards the middle here. And I'll say once he gets that momentum fully built up, we're going to see him jump to that third line, I think, without a doubt. But the question is, does anybody try to block that momentum? And you also think you got to mention, there goes the other 11 car jump to that third line, and the blinking too. That's going to slow the momentum down. They're going to have to try to find a way to get around that 11.
Yeah, he's putting my car number.
Yeah, it's the downside of hosted races. I say it's kind of first come, first serve on the car numbers.
Yeah, I know it.
But they do clear the 11, so now you got 3 of them on the third line, the 01, the 02, the 88. We're going to see the 071 in just a moment. There he goes. So I'll say now it's going to be 3 by 3 here, 6 laps to go.
It is game on now. That third line is going now. We'll see what happens here.
Now I'll say that's when everybody starts to get that little bit more aggressive. You see Vicente Guerrero, he's joined into this party as well. He's gone to that third line as well. Actually able to sneak in between himself, in front of Eric Laurie, I should say. Right now, Charles Johnson, I think he's opted to stay a little bit lower. And as I said, he's going to jump to that third line as well in that 20 car. So yeah, so now it's on already. Patrick and Seth Gruber clear that middle line. They get to the middle. We'll see if they go all the way to the bottom. They're going to hold that middle line.
Looks like Laurie got in the wall just a tad.
I think he'll be okay, though. Looks like he'll be able to recover, get the momentum built back up. But right now, say it's the 01, the 02. They've found their way back to the front here, Matt. And we're going to be down to 5 to go at the line.
Who is pushing Gabe Butler? I can't see that car number right there.
That
is Vincent Guerrero?
That is Vicente Guerrero in the 9, yes.
Wow.
But it's just not enough of them right now. They need more. They need more.
They need more bodies. Yep.
Yeah, they need Eric and Charles to kind of pick the momentum back up and get back up there. So I think we're going to see it as well. It's just they had to. You just can't jump to the third line and then go. You kind of have to build the steam almost back up. And then once you get the momentum built up, then you can jump up there, and you can see Charles and Eric are locked on together. They're going to try to get up to those two, the 88 and the 9. As you can see, everybody's starting to squeeze a little bit more here, Matt. Say they know it's starting to get to crunch time as we're going to come around here before to go at the line.
Yeah, we're starting to get a little bit antsy right here.
Yeah, the wiggles are starting.
No, I want to see this thing go green to the end. We come this far, and I really don't want to see this go with a green, white checker finish. I don't want to see it. I want to see it go green.
I mean, right now this has definitely been a great race. And look at that already. You got Donald Sadusky. He's going to play defense here. He's going to jump to that middle lane, and that's going to leave the 05 now, or sorry, the 85 Alcina on the inside line. Gabe Butler now. That's going to really, I think, propel that third line here. And this might be against some team play here. It's like, hey, if we stay on the inside, they can get to our outside. If we control 2 lanes, we can put this maybe closer in our destiny between the 85 and the 19. So maybe some team strategy here with the 19 and the 85.
Well, looks like their brothers have worked way to the outside and just leave him right out to dry.
Oh, yeah, they found
the sucker hole, as we used to call it back in the day in NASCAR.
Exactly right, and we're going to come across here, 3 to go. But you're right, though, the 0-1, the 0-2, they were able to just clear Gabe Butler. As soon as they did, they jumped outside. They cleared the 19, and then as soon as they were both clear, they jumped straight back to the bottom here. So it was a good effort by Donald there. You wonder if that was the right call. Of course, if you need to stay committed to your teammate, but now Donald, he wants to lead that third line in front of Gabe Butler here. So like I said, it's just everybody's going to start to push and shove a little harder here as we're about to approach 2 to go.
Wow, we're set up for a pretty exciting finish here.
And it's really just kind of who has the push win. And right now, we saw the outside line made a really good run there through 3 and 4. The momentum is really in their favor here. But it's just kind of who gets the right push at the right time. Make sure you don't get that car too hot too early, because that pusher, of course, needs to make sure you can keep that engine and water temps in control here before we get to that checkered. Got 2 to go.
I can't tell which line's moving the best. I really can't. Oh, I heard somebody blow up.
Oh, the 37, yeah, Keith Horner. I think that car might be off of power, and that's going to hurt the inside line. That's going to slow that inside line. But look at Donald Sadusky able to get straight to the inside.
What a power move.
Oh, everybody's starting to get dicey here as you see Donald's trying to work both lanes. They're starting to squeeze. Oh, we got contact.
No!
Oh, caution's out.
We did not make it, so it's going to be a green, white checkered, is it?
Yeah, we were caution free until about, I'd say, a couple, like 1,000 or so feet from the start finish line. And this is actually the latest you probably wanted to have a caution flag, Matt, because this is going to throw the fuel mileage into question as well. For those that pitted very tight on the fuel number, these guys are going to be having to watch, see if they have enough for a green, white checkered here.
What a power move by Donald there. That was absolutely just incredible.
Let's go back and see how this all kicked off. And saying honestly, it really did start with, I think, that blown motor, unfortunately, for the 37 of Keith Horner, unfortunately for him. So we're going to jump back a little bit and try to see where this all kicked off. So again, you already see they're starting to jockey for position here. We got Donald Sadusky. He was in the lead here. You see the 85 and the 02 tight together through 3 and 4. And then you see Donald trying to work both lines right now. He goes from the bottom. He runs the middle here. The 01, he has to try to react quickly. Just clears the 88 of Gabe Butler there. And I think that maybe stacks up the outside line just a little bit. We'll see where that contact came from. Actually, it might be, let's see, Charles Johnson gives the 02 a little push. No, actually, maybe just the 6, I think, may have drifted up a little bit into the 02. Or possibly netcode as well, and then from there you can see behind cars start to get a little bit little squirrely. You see the 9 he catches the 20, and Charles Johnson, he definitely takes the worst of it.
I see cars hitting pit road right now.
Oh yeah, you're right. Some of the leaders here hitting pit road. Probably not enough fuel here, Matt. So we'll jump live and we'll take a look to see who's hitting pit road. And it looks like it's going to be Gabe Butler, Donald Sadusky, Eric Laurie, Vicente Guerrero, Alcina, Les Levy, Kevin LaChance, Charles Johnson. That leaves 3 drivers that were in the lead pack of Patrick, Seth, and Cody Niegels. They stay out here. They all pitted on. They did actually pit though. They pitted on lap 51 and 52 there, Matt. I believe everybody else had pitted on 50 or so. So it actually does make sense that they may have had to take a splash of fuel here.
I'm curious, should the Groover brothers and no, they pitted later. They pitted one lap later than
they pitted one lap later, than most of the leaders here. So the one who I think is not easily, but I think the one who's in the best fuel situation is that 6 car, Cody Niegels, because he pitted the latest on 52, and he was with this lead draft the whole time. He didn't have to worry about chasing everybody back on down. So it's all to play for here. And I was saying, it's, again, like I said, green-white checker now. It answers our question about if cautions were on as well. We know they were on now because the caution flew. And I believe the lucky dog goes to my favorite paint scheme tonight, that 55 of Dean Wilkinson with his wrapping paper paint scheme. And he's going to put now, I believe, 13 cars back onto the lead lap.
I never noticed that. That's a pretty cool paint scheme.
All right, Matt. So here's where things get also very interesting. Again, initial start, as you know very well, initial starts on green, restarts up to the leader. And so the Groover brothers are going to be side by side here. What do they think? When's the right call? Do you go early? Do you wait for that green flag to try to get hooked up? Or maybe do you go maybe just a split second early if you can? It's going to be interesting here, but I think it's all to play for because they're all going to line up right together. Maybe slight question marks of fuel for Patrick and Seth. I think if we get a second green-white checkered, I think those two for sure have to pick. Cody Niegels, I think maybe still a question mark if he has to, depending on how much he's saved. But then we know Donald Sadusky, Al Cena, Gabe Butler, Les Levy. We haven't talked about Les a lot tonight. He's right back in the thick of this thing in the 62. And then Eric Laurie's back in the mix as well. Vicente Guerrero got some damage repairs. He's back in it now as well. Also the 5, Kevin LaChance, same thing. We haven't talked a lot about him tonight, but he's going to be back on the lead lap as well. And Keith Horner, Matt, he blew his motor at 2 to go. He is right back in the thick of things as well in that 37 car.
Wow. I'm surprised he didn't go a lap down. That caution saved him big time.
It really did. And so you can see, as I said, I think we're seeing the fuel saving right now from Patrick kind of driving past the pace car and just rolling, saving fuel down to the apron now. I think just saving every ounce of fuel he can. So
shutting the car on and off. That's the way I do it. But I'm looking at these guys and seeing fire out the back of their exhaust pipe. But it could be different, when I'm looking at the replay and then compare what their actual car is. But we'll see. I have no idea what they're doing. They're probably shutting the car on and off.
I think. Yeah, usually you say the typical is just give it a little bit of gas, shut the motor off, let it coast, kind of rinse, repeat, and save as much as you possibly can. So, we're gonna have 13 on the lead lap. Unfortunately for Dean, though, with him being a lucky dog, he's gonna be restarting way behind all these drivers that are lapped down. So, I say for Dean, he's hoping for another caution. He wants to get right back up into the thick of things. Keith Horner, he's in a similar situation, not all the way in the back, but a fair bit as well. So really, I think it's probably from about Charles Johnson on up that are, actually I should say Vicente Guerrero on up, that are right in the mix of this thing. I say Kevin LaChance is a couple cars back. About 11 cars are right in this main restart group here, though.
Well, if you would go early, you'd be able to get your brother right behind you. But the problem is, if you go early, the cars behind you are going to get a run on you.
Yep.
So that's what they have to think about when they come to this restart right here.
Yeah,
I'm curious what happens.
Yeah, and again, I mean, we've seen the team game played in sometimes successful, sometimes not. I mean, we saw the 19, I think, was trying to control 2 lines with the 85, and it didn't really pan out. So now he's gonna restart here in the 4th spot. So what does Donald have up his sleeves? What's his strategy gonna be? Is he gonna try to hook back up with Al? But we'll wait. Like you said, we're gonna have to see here. To say now again, it's at the mercy of the 01. Everybody just have to be on their toes here. It looks like they're waiting for the green flag. Maybe go split second earlier.
Yeah, they're going now.
Yep, they're down and away, and looks like pretty much on the green flag here. So we're 2 to go. Again, green-white checkered attempt number 1.
Yep, there he goes, right in front of his brother. That's what I kind of expected.
That was a really good move. Yeah, the inside line.
Well, look at the outside. Look at Gabe Butler.
Yeah, you got
Eric Laurie with him.
Those are two very solid combos as well right now. And saying Cody Neagles, he's got the 85 all over the back of him as well. Like I said, now it's just about who gets the right push at the right time. Gabe's got just a nose ahead. He's going to clear to the middle.
Yeah, nope, clear to the middle. That's all he's got.
That could be all he needs. We'll see again. They got to get to the white flag first before this race will be basically race it to the finish. So they got to keep it clean for another set of pretty much through the trial here, Matt. But right now, Eric Laurie, he's getting a great push from Charles Johnson on that third line. And they're looking pretty good here, Matt. We are going to get that white flag. 1 to go here at Talladega.
Oh, this is going to be a nail-biter. Charles Johnson is pushing Eric Laurie for all it's worth now.
Yeah, at this point, don't even bother with the motor. If it pops, it pops. You just push for all you're worth here. And that's exactly what we're seeing up front as well. That 6 car getting everything he can from Alcina. The 88, I think, is getting big pushes as well from the 01. Oh, there's side drive. Oh, we got contact.
Oh, there they go.
Oh, Gabe just clears it, but he's got no help behind him. Oh, big wreck behind.
Johnson got involved.
Pretty much the whole field's involved. It's now just pretty much a drag race here between the 88 and the 071. But look behind Vicente Guerrero, Patrick Groover. They're still in the running here as well. There's going to be some side drafting here, I think, between Eric and Gabe. Eric's got it at the moment. Can Gabe
it's going to be close.
At the line.
Oh, to the line. Looks like Gabe got it.
I think Eric Laurie gets the win.
Wow.
It's
0.002 margin of victory. That is incredible.
Eric Laurie getting the win over Gabe Butler. Vicente Guerrero recovers to finish in 3rd. Patrick Groover 4th. Kevin LaChance in 5th. Let's go back, though, and see how this all panned out because it got wild there coming to the checkered. So I think just, again, everybody got aggressive. We're drafting hard. We're pushing. We're shoving. Let's go see how this all unfolded here. And actually, we're not far enough back, Matt, because it kicked off a bit before all of this here. All right, let's rewind this here. And it looks like, I don't know. So we're going to keep this view here because I think this is going to give us our best look at it here. Because you can see, I mean, they're all lined up here. The 01, the 02, the 88, they're literally pushing each other all the way through. You got 3 cars basically in one. But you look at the 6 is trying to pinch a little bit. And I think the 80, oh yeah, the 85 drifts up just a little bit there. Hooks the 01. And then that, unfortunately, right hooked the 6 car. Nothing that he could do. Cody Neagles does nothing wrong, just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then you can see from here, everybody else just getting kind of piled into it. And then right away here, look at these drivers. They have to try to merge back out on track. But unfortunately, they merge right into the path of the charging field here. And that's what collects Charles Johnson. You see the 02 kind of stuck on the wall there. And then really, the 2 that came through unscathed, though, Matt, the two teammates there, the 071, the 88 there.
Yeah. Wow. They look very close. He get tagged there. And wow. So Mr. Guerrero.
Yeah, Mr. Vicente Guerrero. So let me hunt him down. I just saw him. There he is. All right. So let's go ahead. Oops, there we go. Let's go ahead and pull Vicente on in here. So you got a copy, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you guys got about, I was guessing probably about 1,000 or so feet from the start-finish line there to make it to white flag under regulation, and then green-white checker territory comes into play, and then at that point, all bets are off, and I mean, we saw a lot of you guys had to hit pit road there. Was it just not worth the risk, or was it basically like even if it was just the one green-white checker, did you guys feel like there just wasn't any way you guys are going to make it to the finish there?
No, well, I definitely got some damage from that caution right before, uh, and so I had a pit regardless. So I just got a splash of fuel and some good for fresh tires, and hopefully I was in contention where I could just stay with that front pack right there on that restart.
Yeah, so you're one of the few that were able to kind of pick your way through the chaos there through 3 and 4, and then you see the two cars in front of you side by side. Did you have any thoughts that maybe you'd be able to steal just enough draft to kind of try to chase them down, or were you more looking at Patrick in your rearview mirror trying to make sure you keep that 0-1 behind you?
Yeah, I was making sure that 01 was behind me. There was no way I was going to catch the other two in front. They're quite a ways in front.
So when Vicente, so when you lost the draft with Donald and Cody and Al and all them, what was going through your mind when you were when you saw the Groover brothers catching up to you?
Well, I just thought, maybe I'll just stay in the bottom lane because if I move out, they'll have a better run. So if I stay on the bottom lane, I could kind of side draft a little bit with them and kind of push I think it was a 14 car in front of me. So if I could push them and get them up to speed, I could eventually catch and stay with them.
Yeah, you guys were really well organized together, and you guys were able to catch the leaders, and that was a really good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a really great result. Say you started in sixth, finished in third. I say you were in the running all night long. Say we're like I said, right in the thick of it there, and like the caution light came out, able to work out well for you there as well. But I say get in the third place tonight. So you have to send Charles your info, get a little bit of money in your pocket as well. It's always fun to do for these fun races, recruiting races as well. But man, I don't know if you have any friends, family, or sponsors, anything like that maybe help support you. If you want to give me any thanks and shout outs for your race here tonight.
Yeah, I just want to thank you know Area 51 to putting out this great race and had fun, and also I want to thank my teammates. Only had Cody here tonight with us racing, and um, you know had fun. Thanks.
Yeah, and Cody was right there in the thick of it as well. So unfortunately, just the wrong place at the wrong time. But like I said, yeah, you guys were definitely in the running the all race long. So yeah, just awesome job tonight, Vicente, grabbing that third place.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas to you, Mr. Guerrero.
Thank you.
All right, before we pull up our final two drivers, I'm pulling them up together because they're teammates, and I say, what better way to do that? But first, I'm going to pull up our final results for tonight as well. And you were indeed right, 2,000th of a second, Matt, between Eric and Gabe.
Mm-hmm. I get a better idea. Let's pull in Gabe and let Gabe interview Eric.
We could do that as well. So I'm just going to grab them both together here. Let's say we'll go through the final results here in just a moment, but. All right, so we've got our top two finishers. Let's say I thought about interviewing you guys individually, and I was like, you know what? Let's bring them both in together. But then Matt had a better idea. Gabe, how would you feel about interviewing your race winner teammate, that number 071 of Eric Laurie?
He's as bad as me at interviewing people, so you just go right ahead.
All right, well, we'll start with you then, Gabe. So you start second. I'll say so. Got a ringer in qualifying right off the bat with that 4 of Mark Sherwood. So you guys, I think it was 1,000th of a second apart in qualifying, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, you know what? We can find out. We'll pull up that
2,000th of a second.
Was it also 2,000th of a second? No, it was 1/1,000th for the pole, and then so basically, Gabe, you lose out on the pole by 1,000th of a second. You lose out on the win by 2,000ths of a second. Where'd you lose the time there tonight?
I think my Guinness slipped out of my hand at one point, so that cost me on both ends.
We're messing with you, Gabe.
But all right, so actually, honestly, the main thing was just the way the race played out. Let's say even at one point, Matt and I were questioning cautions, like were they on, were they off? I mean, it was amazing that they didn't fly for a couple near incidents and a couple were just the car. We kind of figured I was like, yeah, the cars were pointing in the right direction. It looks like that was why they stayed green. Then to say you get right to the thick of it there, where you guys are coming out of Ford, try to take that white flag, and then that yellow flies. I mean, what's going through your mind there to know like how close you were to get this thing under regulation?
Yeah, that was kind of odd the caution's not coming out. But if the car right, then I mean, it is what it is. But I have to give a shout out to the Groovers. Now they did a hell of a job getting us back up there. Because if it wasn't for them, we would have been really out of it. Of course, I think there was a caution after that anyway. But they brought us right back into it. I don't know how Seth kept that thing cool, pushing Patrick, but they did an awesome job.
Yeah, those two were definitely monsters all night long. That was something that Matt and I were noticing as well there. But yeah, I mean, to basically a total of 0.003 of a second to start second and then to finish second. I mean, I don't like. It's not much more you can do to get it any closer than that. But I'm guessing, especially for you, one, with this being a fun race, and two, with it being your teammate Eric Laurie, I'm guessing this probably isn't one that you're feeling too bad about grabbing that second spot here tonight.
Oh, I finished second to Eric any time of the year, man. That was an awesome job by him. Shame about the wreck at the end. It was going to be an interesting finish anyway, but he did a hell of a job the whole night. So yeah, big shout out to Eric. Great win for him.
Yeah, and with that, actually, we'll grab you now, Eric, because to me it was a new paint scheme. So we'll say it was the luck of the paint scheme because I didn't catch it before. But yeah, I mean, the other thing, of course, like Gabe was mentioning with the Groovers are getting you guys back up into that mix, but was just the way that race unfolded. I mean, you guys got so spread out at one point. I think it was about 8 or 9 seconds between the front two groups, and then it is basically just turned into pretty much 2 full fuel runs of having to work together and chase back down that lead pack. I mean, how tough was it for you guys to just have to stay so organized? Obviously, with you and Gabe being teammates, but then with some of the drivers that you're not maybe running with week in and week out to kind of stay so committed and just so dedicated to do what you had to do there.
Well, it was really tough keeping everybody in line there going, but once the Steph and Patrick got up there, they were great doing a job up there. I just can't thank them enough tonight.
Yeah, it was really impressive what you guys were able to do. And then then we saw the huge push on the green white checker. You shoved Gabe straight to the front there. He's able to get down to the middle, and you start to get that great push on the outside line. I think it was from Charles, if I'm not mistaken. And then of course you start to see the contact happen probably out your peripheral there. What are you like? Is there anything that you could have that you could feel like, okay, if I do this I might be able to make it, or is it basically just kind of just keep it med and just hope that they don't find their way to me coming out of 4?
Yeah, I heard all the mayhem going, and I said, "Oh no, this can't do it here." But somehow me and Gabe missed it and just kept on going.
Yeah,
I figured I was on the outside there. Well, may as well make a run at it.
Yeah, so you put yourself in the right spot at the right time, and I'll say you're gonna have to just snag some Area 51 money from the powers that be. I won't be able to be your hitman on that one, so you have to kind of find your hired muscle to figure out who you got to chase down for that. But same thing goes for you there as well, Gabe. I think you got some more insider info than Eric does. But just an awesome job from you guys tonight. I say to get the 1-2 finish. I say it kind of feels a little bit like old days with the boot knockers being able to get out front there. I say obviously a little bit shorthanded than what we're used to seeing with that group, but I say you guys getting the 1-2, Eric getting the win here tonight. It was a lot of fun there. I mean, you guys were put on some really great racing throughout the course of that one tonight.
It was a hell of a race, I have to say. I really enjoyed it. I think everybody that was in there really enjoyed it. So I mean. Yeah, that was a blast.
So
I loved it too.
All right, so we'll start with you, Gabe. You've got some sponsors and some beverages on your car for any thanks and shouts you'd like to give for your second place tonight, and then we'll do the same thing for you, Eric, on your 071 car for your win here tonight.
Just a shout out to all the guys that we raced with tonight, and all the other drivers, the newbies. Hopefully they enjoyed it. Some had bad luck, some did good, and of course my sponsorship of Guinness, I'm not sure it's the other way around, but I sponsor Guinness, they don't sponsor me. I'd like to thank them, and of course yourself for the broadcast.
All right, Eric, it's up to you now, sir.
Well, I really want to thank Area 51 for putting us on and working with Gabe's past times and a few years ago. They took me under their wing and taught me a lot of stuff. Really thank the Boot Knocker team for that.
Yeah, so
and as far as the paint job, dude painted it, so I owe a lot of thanks to him for the paint jobs.
Yeah, so it's a good looking paint scheme. I'd say I'm pretty familiar with a couple of your John Deere ones. Like I said, this was a new one to me, so it definitely even looks even better when you get that win here tonight as well. But yeah, just awesome job, you guys. Say definitely be one for you to chat with the guys about later on. To say Eric, you can rib Gabe a little bit, probably be like, yeah, where's those 2000s he needed there. But yeah, just awesome job, you guys tonight. I say it was a lot of fun to see you guys battle it out there. And yeah, I'll say hopefully we'll see you guys, like I said, full time back in 2022. I know Gabe, they've kind of roped you into helping out a little bit as well. So yeah, just great job tonight though, guys, and it was a lot of fun watching you guys battle out for that win this evening.
Thanks, guys, and have a great Christmas if I don't talk to you.
You too as well, guys. Merry Christmas to you and all your family.
Well, thank you.
All right, since I unfortunately pulled Eric a little early there, sorry about that. I was a little quick on the draw there.
You're fine.
But no, I mean what
a race, man!
Yeah,
what a race.
So yeah, I mean 74 laps caution free, just about got to that lap 75 mark where they get to that white flag, and then from there all bets are off, and just got a little too aggressive there off of 4, and got some contact and bring in that green white checkered territory, and I'd say had another wild finish there at the end. But yeah, like you said, just a great race, and to have the one caution for a hosted race, a lot of new names, a lot of new faces. I mean, just hats off to all the drivers as well. Really, really, really impressive. And I say this probably won't be the one and only fun race. I'm gonna say just keep an eye out on the Area 51 iRacing, Facebook, their website, Discord. So there'll definitely be some more info from other fun races between the various series. Like I said, Sunday nights, of course, here with the Superspeedway Xfinity cars. Monday night Next Gen, Tuesday night IndyCar IR18s, and the Thursday night Superspeedway trucks. Matt, I say, well, I love having you in the booth. And say sorry we weren't able to run the track as much as you probably were hoping to tonight. But I say it's always a pleasure to have you up here with me, man. And
oh yeah,
it
was fun. What a race!
I say, yeah, they put on a show. And then, as always, everybody watching, supporting us. I saw a lot of chat in here. As like I said, the Kevin Neagles, we had Brian Anderson, Karen Groover, Cody Neagles is in here a little later on as well. Yeah, I say thank you all so much for watching, for supporting us here, and like you all said as well. Yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful Merry Christmas. It's that time of year somehow already, and before we blink, we'll be full tilt 2022 Area 51. So thank you everybody. I say it's been a pleasure. Look forward to doing it more again next season. But until then, I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And until then, take care, stay safe, have a good night.
Merry Christmas, everybody.